הרומאים לא נקטו במדיניות של הגליה של עמים, זה דימוי מקראי שמבוסס על המסופר, על הגליית הבבלים ועוד לפני כן האשורים, אבל הוא לא היה מדיניות של הרומאים. הרומאים השאירו עמים במקומם וטבעו מהם לסור למרות רומי.
התפיסה הכוללת היא שבעקבות מרד החורבן, חורבן המקדש בירושלים, ישלה הגליה של אנשים, והנה אנחנו מתחילים בגלות ארוכה שמי יודע מתי תגיע לסיומה. ההפך הוא הנכון. אנחנו רואים שברחבי הגליל, ציפורי זה אחד היישובים, ביישובים אחרים, האוכלוסייה היהודית לא שארית הפליטה, לא משפחות בודדות, אלא מדברים על יישוב שהולך ומתפתח, הולך וגדל.
So on this central question, Francesca, what's the evidence?
Archaeologically, it's slim, the evidence. Probably there were some forced migrations, some voluntary migrations of communities, but as we see in the film, actually, a lot of communities that we would associate with being Jewish or Judahite, they remained, they continued to flourish.
Here, only 70 miles from Jerusalem, in the ancient town of Sepphoris, evidence does not point to a people driven into exile, but on the contrary, to a population that flourished.
Judea was rendered a wilderness, and after that, I think we do have to talk about an exile. So it's not a case of saying, oh, in 70, yes, there were still archaeological sites that you can see where Jews were continuing to live in Judea, which we can see up until 132 to 135. But after 135, really not, and archaeology does confirm that from 135 there aren't Jews in Judea, but they do go to Galilee,
Exactly.
They go to Sepphoris.
That's the whole point, which means there was an internal migration from one damaged region to the Galilee.
There was actually there is no evidence of actual exile of Jews out of Palestine as a result of the destruction of the temple, and this is something which has been widely known.
השלטון בא והדת באה, אבל האנשים הם אותם אנשים. ואותם אנשים, הוא אומר, הם בעצם היו יהודים שהתאסלמו לפני 1,300 שנה.
You know, I remember, and this is the highest point, the peak of my book. I remember going to the Tel Aviv library, university library, looking for books about the act of exile of the Jews from Palestine in 70 after Jesus Christ or 132 after Jesus Christ. I was sure, you know, that the Jews were exiled from Palestine. A lot of you till now believe in it, no? Of course, because it is a Christian myth, not a Jewish one. In the 3rd century, the Christians try to explain that the Jews were expelled from Judea because, you know, they were the murderers of the Son of God. The idea, a myth about the exile of the Jews from Judah, there is not even one historical book about it. You have to understand, in the Israel Declaration of the State in 47, it was written that we are expelled from Palestine. We suffer from the exile. The exile didn't happen.
Here's the twist. The majority of Palestinians are of Jewish descent and are ethnically more Jewish than the European and American Jews who went and created Israel. So every time a Palestinian is murdered by an Israeli, a person who's more Jewish is killed by a person who's less Jewish. It's true that the Israeli is actually practicing Judaism or is a secular Jew. And it's true that those Palestinians are Christians and Muslims whose ancestors converted from Judaism to Christianity and Islam. It just doesn't make any sense.
And out throughout the whole of history. But there is always this group of people, and the DNA of modern Palestinians is almost identical to the Bronze Age people. They've always been there. And they need to have a state. Now is the time. So we need all of us to work for that. The most interesting to me was I thought it was the Romans who came up with the word Palestine. But in actual fact, Palestine is a word as old as literacy itself. It's, in the Egyptian form, it's Peleset in the hieroglyphs. The Assyrians talk about Palestina. Herodotus talks about Palestine. The father of history says that Palestine, and he says there are Arabs where Gaza is. So it's a long, complicated history. Many people's... the Levant is the most fantastically mixed and plural and cosmopolitan part of the world. Every port has mixtures of people. And that's true of Palestine too. And people are coming in and out. It isn't just it's one people sitting there. There's migrations in and out throughout the whole of history. But there is always this group of people. And the DNA of modern Palestinians is almost identical to the Bronze Age people. They've always been there. And they need to have a state. Now is the time. So we need all of us to work for that.